Ladies and gentlemen, Dillon Meek.
Hey everybody, how are we? Thank you to the Chamber for hosting this event. Thank you to the Baylor Club for hosting us here. And thank you to everyone who's here today for joining us to get these updates of what's happening in our city, in our county. Everyone is right. I do tend to ramble, and this is an adjustment for me to have to work towards a deadline. I'll try not to talk like an auctioneer. And take my cues that when people start leaving to go back to work, we'll shut it down. Really excited to be here with you guys today. Thank you to the judge. We are so fortunate to have an incredible county judge, great commissioners court and team at the county with Dustin and everyone over there. Our partnership is robust and we're really, really thankful for them. I want to start by bringing up, this is a really cool book that Rick Tullis, actually, our surprise MC today, let me borrow. And this is called the Illustrated Municipal Handbook of Waco. And it's from 1912. And it's kind of like a city website from 1912. It's got everything from a chapter on the status of parks from that year and the economy from that year and streets and water infrastructure from that year. And in looking through this, there are some interesting similarities and differences that I thought I'd point out. The first is in 1912, all saloons were removed from residential districts, kind of the 1912 short-term rentals, I guess. Tuberculosis was the greatest cause of death in Waco in 1912. Fortunately, that's not an issue today. A band called Alessandro's Band was hired to play in parks semi-weekly in the summer months, so kind of the Brazos Nights of 1912. Back then, fire trucks were a horse and buggy, so thankfully we're able to buy real fire trucks now that are run by engines and not horse-powered, literally. Here's a direct quote from this manual in 1912. If Waco continues to grow as fast as she has in the last 3 years, it will take all of our resources, both by bonds and taxation, to extend and build streets, furnish lights, sewers, water, additional police and fire protection that is absolutely necessary to the continued and healthy growth of the city, which feels similar to kind of the period of growth we're in now. And you kind of reading through this, it seems like this was kind of a period of great growth and a period of great opportunity back then in 1912 based on the reading of this book. In the book, the mayor vowed that every citizen of Waco that may have any business in the city, be he humble or great, regardless of race or politics, receive the same degree of honored consideration. So a commitment to integrity. And looking, whoa, here's a picture of Judge Felton from 1912. That's a 10-year-old. Just kidding. Just kidding. I have no doubt that the leaders of the city in 1912, that the people in the community were not perfect, that there were major, in fact we know there were major mistakes, even some societal sins that occurred after the pages of this book were published. But as I review this, it's clear to me that there was a team of people working strategically and proactively to do good as best as they could and make their city better. And as I think about Waco now, I think there's some similarities. We're in a really great time in our city. I would argue that the renaissance of Waco has hit its stride, and that we're kind of in this new, what I kind of call we're in the good old days feeling. Like it's almost like we're in a new golden age, a modern golden age for Waco. Here's some stats that I think kind of reflect that. Waco ranks second in Texas and 7th in the nation in job growth. Just think about that for a second. 7th in the country in terms of new jobs brought to this community. We invested at the city $120 million in capital improvements and infrastructure, the largest in any single year in our history. We've had a record-breaking business growth. Last year alone, 1,700 new direct and indirect jobs, and a $532 million increase to the payroll. We've rolled out the largest economic development project in our history with the completion of the riverfront development, which includes the Baylor Pavilion, And we're really excited about this community dream that's been in existence for decades, coming to fruition. Poverty rates have fallen to their lowest percent in a decade, dropping nearly 10 basis points in the last 10 years. Median income is higher than it's been in a decade. There's more to come in this presentation, but I want to pause and say it's not lost on me that we're enjoying the shade of trees that grew from seeds planted by those who came before us. And there's a lot of people, many in this room, who have worked tirelessly and hard for many years to get Waco to be in this exciting space of opportunity and growth that we're in. I like to say that Waco is the shortest guy on the varsity team. And for a long time, I think we saw ourselves as a JV basketball team, or a member of the JV basketball team. And now I think we're on the varsity team in this state. But I think the key word here is team sport. This is a team sport, and everyone in this room is on our team. I'm looking forward to jumping in here and talking about some of the stuff we're doing. 3 big challenges that I see that we're facing right now. We got a lot of work to do still. Good things are happening, but a lot of work to be done. Financial security, affordable housing, and workforce issues continue to predominate in the landscape, and we're going to continue to work proactively and strategically to address those, and you'll hear some of that as we go through this. I can't cover everything, and I won't try to, so lucky for y'all. I want to give a shout out to our council. Andrea Bearfield, District 1, is here today. She's a poet, and she knows it, a true orator who knows how to make it happen. You want her on your team, and if I ever was in an alley fight, I'd probably want her there too. I know that she is a great asset to this community, and I'm thankful for her. Go University High Trojans. We also have Alice Rodriguez. She gets stronger, funnier, feistier, and better with each year of service. I'm thankful for her friendship and leadership. We got Josh, aka Big John. He's good at memes and good at movie trailer voiceovers, but he's best at governance and wisdom. Go Hillcrest Dolphins. We have Kelly Palmer. Big wit, big Instagram game, and big laughter, but an even bigger care for her people that she represents. And we have our council member, Jim Holmes. No Excel spreadsheet or Gantt chart can show how much this guy loves data and how thankful I am for him to be on our team. They're not on council anymore, but I do want to give a shout out to our Mayor Emeritus Kyle Deaver, who I call regularly for wisdom. And I also spotted former Councilman John Kennard here, and I'm thankful for their continued partnership in our community. I do want to give a shout out to my family, my wife Lindsay, and my 2 kids, Mabry and Davis. I'm not going to make Lindsay stand right now because she would kill me, but I love her so much. I couldn't do this without you. Thankful for your friendship, babe. I also want to thank my family at First Title Company, who allows the flexibility for me to be able to do this. So thanks to that team over there. I want to take you into the Meek family. This is a picture of Mabry. Go back one slide if you don't mind. She just got her first library card. Thrilled about it. Go check out our Waco libraries. They're great. Next, I want to kind of take you into the Meek family. My kids have grown up on parades like that. When we go to a parade, they've grown up on floats, parade floats. When we go to a parade, all they know is riding on the float, not being there. And I want to take you kind of into my 2 kids' personality. So this is a montage of my daughter, Mabry. She is here for the people. She's here for the party. She loves the good time. And then this is my son, Davis, who is ready to go home, ready to play with his dinosaurs, doesn't need any of this. But we have a good time together, and it's certainly a fun season. Next, I want to talk about some Waco personnel. We have an incredibly dedicated, hardworking staff, and they're really the ones who make things happen in our community. I want to recognize our City Manager, Bradley Ford. I am going to ask these folks to stand up as I call your name. We have our City Manager, Bradley Ford. If I was in a World War II foxhole or a zombie apocalypse or in a 3rd floor conference room at City Hall, Bradley Ford is the guy I want next to me. I love working with this man because he is because of his strength and wisdom, but also because he puts his faith, his family, and the city in high priority and in that order. Next, we have our city attorney, Jennifer Ritchie. She's our Ragin, law-following Cajun from Louisiana. She's got a diffusing laugh and a protective heart, and she takes great care of our city and great care of our council. We have our deputy city manager, Deidre Emerson. She may be the daughter of a Baptist preacher, but watch out because, no, I'm just kidding. She's really just super nice, super great, and does really, really good work for our city. We have our assistant city manager, Paul Kane. He looks like a linebacker, and he just blocked and tackled his way through this budget season, which was a gridiron with his counsel at times. We have our assistant city manager, Ryan Be Safe Holt. He's the man with the plan, and no matter what room you're in, don't you just feel a little safer knowing he's there too. We have our assistant city manager, Lisa Blackman. She jumped into the deep waters of Waco about a year ago, and she's done an excellent job, and we're so thankful she hasn't bailed on us yet. If you ever see any of these city staff members in the community or see their families, thank them for their tireless service. They put in really long hours to do good and important things in our community. In February of this year, we were able to announce a new city secretary, Michelle Hicks, who's joined us from Lacey Lakeview with years of service there. We have applause for that. Applause coming from the left side of the room. Michelle Hicks joined us from Lacey Lakeview and has done an excellent job as our city secretary. We also were sad to see Judge Chris Taylor retire after 21 years of service and anticipated announcing a new municipal judge as early as this week. Bradley Ford was able to make some great hires. I'm excited to bring you in on these members of our team, so as you go about doing work with the city, you can know some of these players. We have Kent George, who was promoted to the Director of Economic Development. He's done a great job serving our community and building our economy. We have Monica Settlemeyer, who joined the city in December as the Director of Communication. She's done a great job in telling stories. And a couple of things I do want to focus that she's implemented and her team, her great team have implemented too, is the We Are Waco spotlights, showing exciting and diverse and strong culture that we have here. Check that out on our social media pages or on the city's YouTube pages. You can learn a lot about a lot of really cool businesses and culture happening in Waco with the We Are Waco spotlight. We also have on this slide here we have Eddie Garcia from Mulattoes and a lady had known Angela, but she's the owner of Sisters Boutique, and I haven't met her, but watching the video is really incredible to see this incredible store in Waco that I was happy to learn about. So really cool. Also want to throw out a shout out to the My Waco app. That's a way to really engage with the city. If you see a pothole, or if you see a couch on the side of the street, or if there's a water leak, if you have that app downloaded, you can literally just make a request for that to be corrected. So download that app. It's a great way to stay engaged with what's happening here. Thanks to Monica and her team for all the good work, and glad you're on our team. We have Johnny Binder, who was promoted to the Director of Cameron Park Zoo. He's got years in the zoological industry, and we're thankful that he is serving with us. And we have Cody Patillo, who traded in his CrossFit weights and has joined the Director of Solid Waste. He's been at the city for a while, but he's doing a great job implementing sustainable practices and solid waste management services to our community. There's more than 1,600 employees at the City of Waco, and I wish I could recognize all of them because they do incredible work. But if you ever see a City of Waco employee out in the wild, you see them at a restaurant or run into them somewhere, and you know it's an employee, or maybe they're wearing the Waco emblem on their shirt, go up and thank them for the good work they do. They really do a good job, and I'm really excited about the direction we're headed. That's really because of their dedication. Our city budget, a nearly $500 million budget, inflation has created some challenges, and it's not lost on any of us that there's this balancing act that we have to do. We want to make sure that as construction costs go up, as the need to compensate our own employees rises with the rising cost of living, we need to balance that also with making sure that Waco stays an affordable city. And so we work really hard to do that in this budget. Speaking of inflation, while the economic prospects in Waco have never been brighter, my wife tells me that being mayor in this town has made my hairline go into a bit of a recession, and my stomach is a victim of inflation, and both of these might be sending me into a depression. My wife actually told me not to say that joke because it was bad. This will be the second year that our proposed tax rate has gone down. This is the lowest it's been since 2007, so I'm thankful for that decrease in the tax rate. We passed several property tax exemptions for homestead, persons over the age of 65, as well as persons with disabilities. This will be the equivalent of a loss of revenue of $5.8 million to the city budget through the passage of these exemptions and putting them back in the hands of homeowners in Waco. We're going to get to some more budget items as we go through this. Next is infrastructure. It ain't sexy, but it's important, and we have a plan for it. Whether we're taking care of our existing infrastructure or preparing for future growth, we are ready to go. I know that everyone has probably heard of the tragic circumstances in Jackson, Mississippi, and I encourage everyone to continue to keep those guys in your prayers with their water situation. And while anything can happen with water supply in an old city, I'm really thankful for the proactive and thoughtful approach to infrastructure that our city has had. It's funny, my wife and I will go on a date night sometimes, and somebody might come up to us and say, "Hey, when are you gonna fix these dang streets? My tire's about to fall off the car, it's so bumpy, there's potholes everywhere." And then 5 minutes later, another guy will walk up and say, "Hey, when are you gonna quit repairing these streets? I'm so sick of the construction everywhere." And that just shows you this tension that we're in, that we've really got infrastructure that needs radical repair, and sometimes that creates inconvenience. The other day, literally, we were tearing up a street in downtown Waco, and there was a functioning pipe that was made out of wood. That's how old it was. It's a over 100-year-old pipe that was made out of wood and still in use. And so 2 words, deferred maintenance. So we are planning as we move forward to really be aggressive in our infrastructure. Like I said, $120 million in capital improvements, the single in any year in Waco's history for streets, bridges, water, sewer, and wastewater infrastructure. We have a really good strategic plan to address growth as well, implementing a new street capacity program for high growth areas. We're doing a capacity study for water infrastructure on the edges of our town, and are also this week, council will have the opportunity to vote on a professional services organization that will come in and help us expand our grid system into the edge of town as well. So really thinking through strategically and with an eye towards growth that we know is happening. So take heart that you've got a team of people that are really being thoughtful about preparation. We're also looking to build water capacity, and there's several ways we're doing that, both through conservation and other mechanisms, accessing more Brazos River water that we have rights to, recycling clean water from WMARS and transferring it back to the lake to be reprocessed. So excited about some of the things in process here. We do have a construction mitigation fund. So if you're a small business and your business has been hurt or is being hurt because of construction, the city is stood up a mitigation fund to try to help give small business grants to folks who might see a little pain point because of construction happening in front of their business. And I'm thankful for that creative way to get infrastructure completed, but also be thoughtful about business. I-35, I think we're all glad to see the main lanes open. You can look right out the window. I'm just watching traffic flow smooth. That's a good sight. We'll see the underpasses wrap up in about a month. A couple of things I wanted to note is the TIF gave dollars to light the underpasses so that we can ensure we have both a beautiful lit pedestrian-friendly underpasses that provide connectivity from South Waco and Baylor to our downtown. And we're also the bridge lighting right over here, about 50% of it is broken, that they don't even make the parts. It was installed as recently as 2015, but they don't even make a lot of the parts that we need to fix it. So we're doing an RFP or RFQ at the end of this year and hope to select a vendor and begin construction at the beginning of next year to see the bridge lights fully functioning again. Economic development. I think you need to be proud because you have a city who cares, a city who really cares about growing our economy for everyone. And that's not just the people in City Hall, that's all of our economic development partners. This is not by accident. We have a lot of folks doing strategic, proactive work to grow our economy. I want to thank our Chamber of Commerce, Matt, and your team for hosting us here today and the good work they do. The Hispanic and African American Chambers of Commerce, Andrea and John and your teams, Prosper Waco, Susie and her team, Startup Waco, John Passavant, Higher Ed Partners, ISDs and others are really working together in this community. It's a lot of momentum that we see right now in terms of the opportunity to move the ball down the field because of the collaboration that we have here today. Our council remains pro-economic development and smart growth. I'm really thankful for that. We are doing a economic development study right now. It's a 10-year strategic plan, and I'm really thinking that there's going to be a lot of good outcomes that come from this to make sure that we're resourced right for the next decade. A couple of the things that I want to highlight here is having updated strategies and being resourced to support both big and small business. Improve our efforts to recruit executive jobs into downtown Waco. Make sure that we're resourced in our strategies to connect people to good paying jobs with education, training, transportation, childcare. Prioritizing strategic place-based real estate development and creating alignment between economic development organizations and partners. It's going to take all of us. We've got a great team, and I'm really thrilled to get to be a member of the economic development team. We also contributed dollars to the TST training facility that Judge Felton mentioned. Again, I'm so excited about that. That's going to be TSTC trained course. Thank you, TSTC, for your partnership on that. The members of our community are going to get to have an opportunity to get the training they need to go get higher paying jobs, whether that's upskilling in their own job or moving from a place of employment, from one place of employment to another. I love how that came to be. The urban legend is that Jeff Kilgore and Rick Tullis were just like having breakfast one day, and then next thing you know, Curtis Cleveland's at the table, and our three chambers in Prosper Waco are at the table, and the city and the county are at the table talking about how can we do a training facility to upskill our workforce. And I know there's so many people around the room who have been in that same situation where lightning strikes in an idea, and next thing you know, it's coming to be. And that's what I love about Waco, is that it's small enough and we know each other and we get along well enough that we can really do significant big things. So I'm excited about that. Budget-wise, $3.5 million into the Economic Development Corporation, more than we've ever contributed. Separately, we have $3.5 million for small business support programs, something that we have not ever done before. Using ARP dollars, this is going to really ensure that we have a great approach to support the lifeblood of this community, small business, and take an equitable approach in doing that. About $1.1 million to economic development support organizations out of the city budget. Here's something I want to put on everybody's radar too. $85,000 we've budgeted this year for a development process, feedback, and process improvement study. So if you're in the construction industry, I know that sometimes it can get, we got a great team at the city who's working hard, but I know it can get difficult and challenging when it comes to development, construction, permitting, all of those things. And so this development process study, I think, is going to be a great way for us to hear in a really thoughtful way from every member of the development community and bring about any sort of change that we need to make sure that doing construction, development, or anything in that realm in the city is as easy as possible. And I'm looking forward to seeing the results of that. Great time in the economy in Waco with SpaceX and Amazon now in the community. We just need one big investment from Sir Richard Branson to complete our Billionaires Space Race bingo card. And I'm sure the chamber is working to get that done. Downtown Waco, if you don't have a pulse if you're not excited about where we're headed here. It wasn't that long ago you could fire a cannon down the middle of any city street, and now it's bustling with activity. We've funded significant dollars towards our public improvement district. Our public improvement district has issued a work plan that the city council has approved that will improve downtown streetscaping, improve lighting, have new and existing event support, and continued graffiti abatement. We're also working on a downtown plan right now to really make sure that we are being thoughtful about our overlay and zoning and things that we can do to really ensure downtown's a healthy spot. I'm really excited about our riverfront development. Catalyst Urban is just a couple months away from having hundreds of people living in apartments and as a part of that development. As I know that folks are aware, and we've already mentioned, the Baylor Foster Pavilion is going to be an anchor institution of the completed riverfront that will bring thousands of people regularly to the banks of the Brazos River and this riverfront development. We're also doubling down to complete the Riverwalk between the Baylor Law School and Webster Avenue to make sure that our Riverwalk is pristine and of high quality. A quick look of some other things happening in downtown. We have the Marriott AC on 6th and Mary, $60 million investment. I think to date the largest single building investment in downtown's history for now. It's going to be an amazing hotel. And one thing I'm excited about is there's going to be over 150 free public parking spaces as a part of that development. As we do parking in Waco, we're really being thoughtful to make sure we have the free public parking available. Also excited about Magnolia HQ opening in downtown in a couple of months. Having a business that has hundreds of employees in the downtown ecosystem is really going to help solidify the opportunity for small businesses to win, and I'm excited about their being here. Also thankful for the Magnolia Hotel and the judge and the commissioner's court. That's in the queue to be completed here in about a year. A smaller thing, but kind of interesting thing to keep in mind is Tecovas, which is a Western wear store, but a very popular one, but has stores all over the country. It's a popular retail shop, chain retail shop all over the country. And they came into downtown Waco this year, and as best as I can tell, that's the first national retail chain with success that has entered into the core, the middle of our downtown market in a generation, and I'm excited to have them here. Next, we have our mobile visitor center, which was approved by council in August. This is going to be a way that we can go to different places where there's a lot of tourists and make sure that we are sending them throughout the city and strategically engaging tourists to activate our economy. Next, I want to give a quick note for a grant that everyone should hopefully go vote for. There's a total grant for $90,000 for 10 free concerts for our Waco's Bridge Street Plaza. And we're one of 36 cities that were selected to apply for this. The top 20 cities will move to a final review, but it's based on how many people vote for it. So everyone, please vote for the Bridge Street Plaza, so we can get this grant to have 10 concerts over 3 years. Creative Waco's been a big help in that. Thanks to Creative Waco for all they do. Last, when it comes to downtown, TIF 4 was created this year. I'm really excited about this. This will include corridors like 25th Street and 26th Street, parts of Elm Avenue, LaSalle, and then the rest of downtown, which is not in the TIF zone currently. The reason why this is important is there's a lot of properties in this core, in this TIF, that we really need to ensure are invested in. It secures our tax base. This TIF won't last forever, but it'll be a way to really expedite capital investment and secure our tax base and help and support small business in these commercial corridors in this area. So excited about the future of downtown. Next, the airport. I want to make sure everybody is aware that we are working really diligently to make sure that both our community members as well as people doing business or visiting Waco have access to an excellent airport. We've been doing a lot of behind the scenes work to secure our runway, to improve drainage, to repave streets. But I'm really excited about our terminal renovation project that's underway right now. It really looked like a throwback to 1992, and now we're really excited to see this $8.7 million project, which is primarily almost all of this is funded from the federal government for a airport terminal improvement. So you can see some of the renderings here. It's really going to be a great showcase, I think, for us. Looking ahead, we're also applying for grants to get new carriers and working strategically with American to really make sure that we have consistent, frequent travel in and out of the airport as an amenity to grow our economy and live life here in Waco. Parks update. We're really committed to our park system in Waco and really doing a lot of really cool and exciting things. Indian Spring Park and the suspension bridge behind you should be completed hopefully in about a month or less. The Doris Miller Community Center, formerly the Doris Miller YMCA, will be totally renovated as a new, pristine community center in East Waco in August of 2023, a little less than a year from now. We budgeted $10 million for the first phase of the Floyd Casey Community Park. This is going to be, when all said and done, the most money invested into a park in Waco's history. It is going to really provide an excellent regional park in a part of town that I'm really excited about. We're going to talk about the Floyd Casey development here in a minute. I'm really thrilled about the work that's coming, but this park is going to be significant. A significant portion of the Lions Park renovation project has been funded through this year's budget. That is not just a city project, though. That's a community project. And so you can go to the city's website. There's a web page. You can just Google Lions Park Waco and go to a web page on the city website and actually register to get updates and learn more about how you can participate in the revitalization of this incredible historic asset that I'm really excited about having new life breathed into it in a way that really honors its history. It's going to be a fun thing for our families. Okay, fun fact about Waco's boundary. A lot of times people don't know what parts of Waco are actually in the city of Waco. So kind of on the Highway 84 side, you might not know this, but Harris Creek Baptist Church, you probably all do in this room, but Harris Creek Baptist Church is in the city of Waco. Hidden Valley's in the city of Waco. Stone Creek Ranch is in the city of Waco. People don't necessarily think that that's in our boundaries, but also China Spring, a big, large part of China Spring is in the city of Waco. And so for years, folks in China Spring have been asking us for a park. So raise your hand if you think China Spring should get a park. Show of hands. Raise your hands if you don't think China Spring should get a park. Just kidding, don't raise your hands because China Spring is getting a park. We have funded in this budget and are in final negotiations for a really great park site in China Spring. Hopefully within 18 months, we'll be at a ribbon cutting celebrating that being completed. The zoo, we're really excited. Judge Felton mentioned the zoo bond project. Thank you, Judge Felton and the County Commissioner's Court for your support on this bond. Due to skyrocketing inflation and construction costs, we're worried that the penguin exhibit may end up just being some grackles with their chest spray painted white and a Yeti cooler. Just kidding. This is going to be an excellent project. We've already finished up our hoof stock barn. We are rapidly wrapping up the design phase for the veterinarian education facility and the penguin exhibit. As costs have gone up, we're really going to steward the taxpayer dollar well, but ensure that this is an excellent project that everyone can be proud of. My family loves the zoo. Whoever came up with the idea for the animal scooters, it's hilarious and it's funny, and my kids love it. So well done on that. But excited about the future of these projects. I know it's going to be excellent as we go. Next, we're going to talk about some quality of life issues. I want to talk about housing. I think, as I mentioned earlier, housing, affordable housing particularly, is one of the biggest issues facing our community. And I want to define affordable housing. I think people's minds just run to low-income housing, but affordable housing really can strike at many different socioeconomic brackets. And it's when people at any level are being priced out of living in affordable housing. That's the definition, although it's not lost on us at the city, and our priority will be working with the least of these who are really feeling the greatest burden for the rapidly rising housing cost in Waco. This might make some people squirm, I don't mean to, but I couldn't help but share it. I was randomly reading in my devotional this morning, and Mark 12 came up, and it said, "Watch out for the teachers of the law. They walk around in flowing robes, and they're greeted with respect in the marketplaces. They have the most important seats, places of honor at the banquet, but they devour the widows' houses, and for show make lengthy prayers. These men will be punished most severely." So, I was like, okay, that's a good reminder. We've got to really be thoughtful about the strategies that we can implement working with nonprofits and housing partners to make sure that Waco is ample in its supply of affordable housing. We're committed to doing that. We did a housing study last year. We've got a great housing task force right now who are rolling out multiple strategies, ensuring that we have sustainable funding models, like a housing trust fund that can continue on its own. We're working to make sure that we have the tools in the toolkit to help developers develop mixed-use, affordable, and low-income housing that is going to really be built in a way that is going to work and make sense and be pragmatic, but also respond to the need. And I'm excited to see the task force deliver results on the need to address vacant property, higher density issues, and neighborhood revitalization. The city's put $11 million of ARP dollars that we have, so federal dollars, towards affordable housing and housing rehabilitation in the city. By comparison, we put $1.5 million towards that last year. So again, this is federal dollars, but it's going to be significant injection into ensuring that we are implementing strategic policies to make sure that Waco has affordable housing stock for everyone in our community. We've also been strategic about the procurement of land for housing. Floyd Casey is the furthest down the road on that. This is a 240 unit development that's going to have everything from grand single family homes to cottages to townhouses. And it'll provide homes at a variety of price points, making a neighborhood that welcomes everybody. And I'm really excited about that. I think I saw Sarah Roberts here earlier, but thanks to her and her team who have really helped get this further down the road, and excited to get it over the finish line. The city has about 200 acres that it owns at the intersection of South 12th Street and Loop 340. I anticipate that we will be doing housing RFP for housing at this location. We have about a block in East Waco and 16 city lots on North 15th Street that I also anticipate us applying a diversity of strategies to use this city property for good quality housing stock in our community. Race equity continues to be a lens which we look through to do all of our work. And a couple of the things that I'm excited about is designing and construction of our STEAM Center at the former Bledsoe Miller Community Center, what will be a former center, and be used as Judge Felton mentioned the importance of STEM education. We add an A in that for arts. That's Andrea Bearfield coined the term, but we will have a STEAM education center in East Waco. We, as I mentioned, are renovating the Doris Miller Recreation Center. We are committed and have budgeted for renovation of our Eastern Little League ballparks and Cotton Ballas ballparks, and put a children's librarian in the East Waco Library for the first time. I'm also excited about this picture behind me of the East Waco window displays. This is Ruth Jackson, the wife of former council member Noah Jackson, who we miss very much. This was a really small thing, but a great way to demonstrate some of the legacy and history in our community and leaders who have done great and good, worthy work. And I anticipate us doing similar work or similar displays throughout our library. Again, this was a small thing, but a great way to really honor the legacy and history in our community. Performing Arts Center. This is going to be a call to action. We're really moving down the road with our Performing Arts Center. I anticipate the location of this will likely be the intersection of Franklin and University Parks Drive, where those food trucks were. We met with the finalists of 3 architect firms this week. Thank you to Creative Waco and a team of community members who have helped kind of get us to this point. But I really think that this is an exciting opportunity for us to explore the opportunity to have a state-of-the-art, world-renowned Performing Arts Center in downtown Waco. If you're interested in participating in fundraising or interested in helping us raise dollars, be on standby for that. And again, thanks to Fiona Bond and the city team for their work on this. Public safety continues to be a priority for us. We're funding 12 new police officers, 4 new firefighters. Violent crime is down. I'm really thankful that our chief of police issued a response to violent crime plan earlier this year. You can see that on our city website. I'd encourage you to check that out. But really thankful for the strategic and proactive response that our city takes and our budget reflects to make sure Waco stays a safe city. Initiatives looking forward as I wrap up here. One is I want everyone to imagine downtown as you're kind of coming down University Parks Drive and you take a left on Franklin, you see these vacant parking lots. And I want you to begin to imagine those being fully developed. And don't worry, we'll figure out a way to make sure that there's ample structured parking. But I think that we're at a point where vision and alignment and resources in the market have all come together in a really dynamic and exciting way. So begin to catch vision for what it could look like if more new development comes into being in downtown Waco. I'm excited for that, and I think that that's going to be an upcoming conversation that we're going to begin to have as a community. Another thing that I want to do looking forward, this is something that I'd like to do as I kind of step back from this office in a couple years, is have in place the infrastructure where communities of faith of all types and all stripes are fully engaged in what is happening in the city, so that their congregants might know the resources available, as well as a volunteer base can be deployed to the needs and opportunities in this community. So I'm working with a team of people right now to think through some strategies that we can do that's fully appropriate, but also ensuring that we really are engaging that important community. As Aaron Zimmerman said one time, if you don't, not engaging the churches in Waco is like not engaging the labor unions in Detroit. So I think it's really important for us to think strategically about how to engage those. So be looking for some future work on that. And then the last thing I want to say that I hope that we can do this year that is in early stages of process but has some work to be done is really connecting people to jobs. I think there's a Grand Canyon sometimes between good, livable wage jobs that we've attracted to our community and people in financial security. And my hope is that when I'm done in this role, I'll be able to say that we did everything we could to ensure that if you want to be in the middle class in Waco, there's a clear pathway for you to do that. And I've met with people as early as this week who are dedicated to the same cause. And I don't care what my role is, so Matt and Andrea and John Bible, I want to help see that come to be. I'm so thankful for the team of economic development partners we have in this community who are ready to roll up their sleeves and do the same. And I think that we're going to see some good work done there. All right, going back to this manual and wrapping this up, I'm going to read a last quote from the mayor, Mayor Mackey. And this is a quote from his address in this book. And it says, "Allow me to make an earnest appeal to every citizen in Waco who is interested in progress, the upbuilding, uplifting, and advancement of our beautiful and beloved Waco, to join hands with the city administration to the end that we may accomplish great and good things in Waco," end quote. I think that is so well said. As we're in a different time now, we've learned a lot since then, and we're going to continue to advance and innovate. But I can't think of a better place with more opportunity. Waco's going to be great because of the people here. We've got a great team of people in our community, a great team that is going to really see the advancement of good work in our town. And I'm excited about the future. Look forward to partnering with each and every one of you on this. If anyone has any questions or complaints, please email those to scott@mcclennancounty.com. And thank you for your time today. Have a great afternoon.